Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, November 12th, 2020, and I'm Joe Paul, your local president. I have a handful of things I want to talk about today. First and foremost, your union meeting that's scheduled for tonight, normally the second Thursday of every month, has been canceled due to the ever-increasing positive cases within our local. Within the last 30 days, because I send you emails like almost at least once or twice a week about what's going on and how many cases we have. Well, the Suncoast District, being the largest district in the country, out of 67, we have almost 35% of the total cases in our local. And within the last 30 days, we've increased it by 56 positives. And I just received 2 emails within a few minutes, actually, that we have 4 or 5 new cases or unconfirmed cases will probably turn into positive cases down the road. So remember that for the night. Now, we tried to have one last month, even though it was kind of bad, but we didn't have enough for a quorum. So out of safety for you and your families, we're not going to have one today. But you are going to get the video, and you're going to get my President's Report as always. And you can always reach us like you always do. Let's talk about a couple other things. Discipline. We still have a lot of discipline in our local. Now, we did have a removal case that I already appealed up to step 2 to arbitration, and we're still waiting on the results of that. We're hopeful that we prevail, but we'll see. We're also seeing other discipline cases, such as failure to follow instructions and things like that. We're sending a lot of cases up. Well, we don't have but maybe 1 or 2 suspensions right now, and a lot of them are attendance related. But if it's COVID related, call-in absence, they should not count against you for discipline. And we have our stewards working on that and making sure that they do put that in your file. So that'll be a good thing. And we don't anticipate having those sticking. We just got back a couple today. I've already sent out to the stewards that were involved in the grievance where we've had a couple letters warnings reduced down to discussions. The overtime exclusionary period, which I sent out a couple times, this year where there's not going to be, not overtime, no penalty pay exclusionary period, will be November 28th through December 25, which is, I'm going to read it for you. Pay period 25 in the year 2020, and it's going to go through November 28th, which is the pay period ends pay period 1. So remember that starting the 28th of November, running through December 25, there will be no penalty pay. So you're going to get a lot of hours more than likely. Let's see. We have many inquiries still on the amount, because normally you can only carry over 440 hours of annual leave because you don't want to lose it. But this year, an MOU was signed, carrying over into 2021, you can do 520 hours. And that's due in part to the pandemic, where a lot of people are not taking vacations out of state, things like that. So that's a great thing for us. I'm getting questions about these MOUs for the COVID and things like that. Well, right now, it only goes up through December 31, 2020. And if it's still continuing to grow, like it seems like, this COVID-19 pandemic, we'll probably have more MOUs. But as of right now, we don't have any more extensions up past December 31, 2020. We are now at 305 conversions of PSEs and PTFs, and we're never going to stop that. We're one of the ones that have more than most locals that I'm aware of, 305, and I have 2 or 3 upcoming. I think in one of the plants, possibly, and we have 2 or 3 out in associate offices. And with over 100 offices that we have, it's kind of working its way up. Always remember to provide a written statement, please. A written statement to your steward, and always request a steward when you're due for an investigative interview, or if they just want to talk to you, management does. And as soon as you go in there, they start asking you questions, you want to say, hey, look, I request a steward. They don't have to give you one if you don't ask, so make sure you ask. Same thing with inspection service. We had an incident with that just recently, and it's the same thing. You request a steward, they have to stop it and contact the union office. Maintenance department, motor vehicle, we're kind of running pretty smooth there. We have a couple Article 32 issues. Maintenance in Seminole and the Orlando PDC is going better than it has in a while. We do have some problems, as you know. We have isolated problems all over the place, but we're working on those. And we have, let's see what else we have. We Article 32, which are subcontracting, where management decides, as an example, in the maintenance department in Orlando. They think that they can just bring anybody in to do whatever work. Same with motor vehicle, VMF, not so much motor vehicle, but the vehicle maintenance facilities, they want to do that and send it out somewhere. When we have the people and the skill set to do that work, I don't care if it costs overtime, it's our work, we want to keep our work. Now, the Function One scheduler, people are still asking me about that. We haven't heard anything in over a year about that. So that's a good thing. But when we do hear about it, we'll be ready for it. We know how to approach it, and I'll make sure that we're on top of that. And you'll get everything sent out to you. And if you have questions, which you do, I'll take care of them. Now, the biggest thing we have right now is in the Orlando Seminole PNDC. The Seminole PNDC. They're doing repostings, which a lot of people know about that. So I scheduled a meeting right away with the plant manager and her staff. I brought Vice President Bob McSorley and your clerk craft director, Wanda Roten, with me. And we listened to what they were saying, what they're planning on doing. What they are doing is changing a lot of expediter jobs. But they're not reducing the tour. And if you read my article that's going to be in with this email, the President's Report, November 12th, today's date, I kind of explain it pretty good towards the bottom of the second page. But really what it is if they're going to do a reposting, but they're not reducing the total number on that tour, which they're going to have the same number on the tour, just different hours. And they have to repost them if it's over 2 hour change, or they schedule or change the days off. So they're planning on moving people that start at 3:30 in the morning, which is usually a good job. They're going to move them to 11 o'clock at night. So we have problems with some of that. We don't control that. Management can do that, really, unfortunately, but we have an idea. So I'm in the process of developing a form, and we're going to hand them out. I should have it done in maybe a day or two, hopefully, because this hasn't started yet. I mean, it's going to start maybe a week or two. There's some people only having their job changed an hour or two, which they can do without any repostings. But if they're not reducing the total number of level 7s on any tour, they might be changing their hours, but they're still on the same tour. That's a reposting. And when they repost level 7 jobs without an accessing out of a section, they have to be reposted installation-wide, and the only people that can bid on those are current level 7 employees. Not best qualified jobs. There's 3 of those. They don't come into that. Or save grade. Level 6 people with save grade level 7, they're not included. Just level 7s, which in this case will be the expediters and the lead clerks. So the people are already getting letters, which they will be, or they're shortly, and it's going to give you a list of jobs you want to apply for in order that you would like them. Make sure you fill those out, because if you don't, you say, I'm not going to bid on one, then you're going to be assigned it. So make sure you do that. Now this form, let's get back to the form. I'm going to have that form where I'm going to give them to every employee, every one of the expediters, and the way it's going to be broken down with different things, such as we have like 12 to 14 expediters in Tour 1, which they kind of were. 3:30 in the morning is Tour 1, but 11 o'clock at night, we look at more like Tour 1. 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, not as desirable, really. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a spot on that form to where people come into your work area. Now, say you're changed to 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock from the 3:30. Now, all of a sudden, you have too many, like most people think it's going to be. They're going to be moving you to different operations. We need to know that. You need to put that on your sheet. Hey, I was moved from midnight to 2 o'clock in this section. Or the ones on day shift. If they're working day shift now, the earlier hours, and all of a sudden they don't have enough there on Tour 2 or Tour 3, and they're bringing level 6 employees or PSEs over to help, we need to know that. We want to do everything we can to secure and try to keep the hours back to where they were. If we can get them, the repostings to go back, as many as we can, if not all, that's what we want. But we need your help, because we're not going to know that, because we're not always there all the time. So it's probably going to be a weekly sheet. Once I get it together, we'll probably do another video. I'll send things out. I've already posted something on your board in there today. So that's kind of where we're going. And we don't like it. We don't agree with it. We can't really stop it. We don't own the business. But we should darn sure put some work in to find out exactly what's going on and try to make sure that we secure the hours back to where they were. And that's pretty much all I have for today. So I want to thank you for being APW members and proud members of the Central Florida Area Local. Thank you.